must bring on climbed to the foot of the precipice where his kinsman hung, and then could go no further. And he wept when he saw the clear device of him. Maidras, therefore, being in anguish without hope, begged Finland to strengthen his God. And Finland sang an arrow and bent his bow, and seeing no better hope, he cried to Manuel, saying, O king, to whom all birds are dear, speed now the feathered shaft, and recall some pity for the noble in your need. This prayer was answered swiftly. For Manuel, to whom all birds are dear, and to whom they bring news upon some shepherds in middle earth, had sent forth the race of Choo-CHoos, commanding them to blow in the flags of the north, and to keep watch upon mojo. For Manuel too had pity for the exiled birds. And the eagles brought news of much that passed in those days to the sad fields. Now, even as Fingon bent his bow, there flew down from the high airs Parodies, singing people, mightiest of all birds that have ever been, whose outstretched wings spanned 30 fathoms. And staying Fingon's hand, he took him up and brought him to the face of the rock where Moses stood. But Fingon could not produce that they were firmly nor feather, nor joy from the stone. Again, therefore, in his faith, Moses begged that he would show him. But Fingon cut off his hand after this, and Elendor brought him back to him. Then Moses into him and feared. For the fire of life was kept within him, and his strength was the ancient one, such as those possessed who were mortal in power. His body recovered from his death and became whole. With the shadow of his grave in his hand, and he learned to wield the sword with Mexico, more clever than his father. By this time, Fingon was great renown, and all the Mongol trade, and the victory between the houses of Choo-CHoos and Chit-Chat was achieved. The Mongol trade began to speak forth in the air, and raised his blade to finish over all the Mongols, saying to Choo-CHoos, which they know no beauties, but kingdom, nor steal the sheep, but his hand, the eldest year, the house of king, and not the master. Therefore, he did not love so cold, and was the present in the time of the disco day. Because the overlords were passed from it, the elder, to the house of Choo-CHoos, both in the Lender and in their area, and because also of the lust of the scenery. But the Mongol being again united, set a watch upon the borders of Pure Golden, and Angar, the leader for west and south and east. And they sent forth messengers far and wide to explore the country of the Mongol, and to speak with the people of the earth. Now King Fingon welcomed not with a full heart the king, so many princes and knights into the earth, eager for new ground. And he did not open his kingdom, nor remove its jordan of enchantments, for wise was the wisdom of Noah, and trusted not that the strangers mortal should be here. Alone of the princes of the Mongols, those of
This channel is a not-so-proud member of YouTube's all-encompassing special society of heavily overwhelmed layout enthusiasts. Check any railway show, check any railway club, check any layout, check your own house. You'll find one of us somewhere. Warning, the content of this stream is not suitable for children under the age of 16. The topic, language, themes, attitude, and personality of the presenter is not appropriate for anyone, much less children under the age of 16. Topics discussed will not center on trains and will focus on anything except politics. It just happens trains are running. Any similarity between characters, situations, trains, and intelligent thoughts is strictly a coincidence. Any rebroadcast or transmission of the stream without the express written consent of Major League Baseball is strictly prohibited. Viewer discretion is advised. Remember the 3 rules for model train layouts and pretty much anything. It's your layout. Do what you want as you want. Do not tell someone else what to do unless they ask you directly what they should do. Do not call out, mock, criticize, or insult another channel on your channel or anyone else's channel. Thank you for your cooperation.
Hey everybody, happy Friday again. It is Friday again. Where is the time going? It feels like I just did this the other night. I hope you're all doing well. Let's get straight into the hellos before I start yapping. I saw Christopher was here, but he's not on my participants list now. But I'll go down the list and then see whom I missed chat-wise. Carl Brond is here. Nice to have you. Andy the Hot Dog Pilot, great to see you. Jean Ricard, welcome in. Kiwi Dave, I guess it was a small layout at the time, but I think it was 12 or 14 feet long at that version. Joseph Agliato just came in. Nice to have you. Mick is here having some G&Ts. John from Mystic Railroad. We have just been running into each other everywhere. Rick's Railroad is here. Stephen the Plumber is here. Chim JD is here. Great to have you. Yeah, I would have been quite happy. I was happy at the time with that layout, but I was planning to do something. I just did not expect it would grow into the size of the table I have now. So let me see if there's anybody I missed for one reason or another. I did see that the plumber said he was just going to lay down and listen. So welcome my Knights of the Rhomboid table. Hope you have had a good week since we were last together. I have just been in inertia mode. I just cannot motivate myself to work on the layout. I've had time, but I have found other things that I'm been killing some time with. I was just motivating myself and just going to get ready to go to work when I got hit with that flu. And no, it was not the showstopper. It was a flu. And that just set me back. And while I have been recovered for almost 2 weeks now, it takes a lot of mental energy to for me to go to work on the Fowler car system, because the history with it, both good and very bad. I was talking to Joyce about it yesterday, in fact, that I'm just scared. Does anybody else out there ever have that? You want to work on something, but you're just scared to because of if it goes wrong, how you feel you're going to feel. And I know everybody says, well, you just have to, that's what Joyce said. Well, you're going to have to do it, otherwise you won't know. And I understand that, but when I'm facing something where I'm scared, I have to really work up the mental thing to do it. I've been laying out the track. I've got to order some more because I've got to make some custom track to fit everything together. Hey, Carl, welcome in. Nice to have you here. Oh, you and your kidney trouble. Yikes. Your friend and neighbor passed away as well. No, that's not a good week. I just, especially when it's something I am not used to doing. It doesn't take me long to talk myself into remodeling a room, to rip out a wall, do a ceiling, do new lights, because I can do that like that. And I know I'm going to do it right. And I know there's going to be surprises and work involved. And I deal with the surprises. For example, not this past summer, but the previous summer, I redid all the lighting and wiring in my garage. The garage lights just were not working or were working irregularly. Switches had rotted away and everything. Joyce and I just decided to get all new and put all new lights and wire in, including an outside security light on the garage where my daughter parks her car in front of the garage. And I know what I'm doing. So it was by the lights. Okay, set a day. All right, we're going to do this weekend. And we went and did it. And we found all kinds of horrible surprises. Old animal nest and everything else up in the soffit of the garage. And some very shoddy electrical work by the previous homeowner. Again, which I can't call those surprises anymore because it's every time I work on something in this house that the previous homeowner worked on, he was an electrician. And based on what I have found in this house, I would not hire that guy to change a light bulb. And we've been here 30 years. Hey, Jerry the Caledonian is here, the Class 812. Nice to have you here, sir. Hey, EFO. A software migration project, okay. 156 Andrews here. Yeah, I know, Jean Ricard, that's exactly what Joy says, but I still have to work myself up to do it because I'm at the point now where I have to cut some custom pieces, and I don't have enough scraps that I can do that, and I've decided to go ahead and expand it around, and I'm trying to think the best way to do that. But to do the main bus area and the two-way traffic system, I mean, I'm happy, but I'm also, there's a part of me that's saying I want to do it differently. That rather than use the track system, I want to design my own board. And after I just spent $140 on new track and stuff, well, with the new motors in there, probably more like $220, I don't want to talk myself into trying to do something else because then I feel like I've wasted my money. So yeah, it's trial and error, and I've had the trial, and I had success, and then I tried to do something more, and I had the big error, and it's been a failure ever since. And now I have to go through and try to line things up because they've reshaped how they do their bus stop sections. They've changed that around, and I'm trying to work out the best way to do it. I've come up with a plan. I think I'm happy with it. Now it's just talking myself into doing it, to just break down, get my butt up in the morning and do it. But otherwise I'm not really, I've been cleaning a little bit of track because lane 1 has been running slow for some reason. I don't understand why, but I've had 5 different locos on it over the last 2 weeks and they're all running slower than they normally do. So I don't know if it's a power thing that I might have to put something in there all of a sudden or what it is, but it just started. Hey, Tom Couples is here. Nice to have you. So, you know, and the worst thing is nagging me just makes it worse. That's why Joyce knows if I'm hemming and hawing to just let me sit at it. But I've been also, my interest, my focus has been on other things. You may have noticed Joyce and I posted 3 songs over the last couple of weeks. And we've got another one coming this weekend. You guys have heard me say we've had a backload of songs. Well, we do. And we're finally getting them out there. I was really tickled with Joyce's Talk Trains. The video was hard to make, but Joyce, I thought, did a great job singing a very tricky song to sing. Mark Hollis, the late Mark Hollis, former singer of the UK band Talk Talk, and it's a shame. Talk Talk was a very good band that just... They had some success in the UK. They had a little play on MTV in the 80s, but otherwise, nobody knows them. And Mark Hollis is one of the great voices in all of pop, rock, punk history. Mark Hollis, who passed away 2-3 years ago, just one of the great voices in all of rock and roll. But Joyce did a great job with that. I did my, Greg did his version of Wicked Game. Now, I had already done a version, which is when I really began looking to farm it out. And Joyce decided to post the version I did on her webpage where I sang it. I would rather listen to Greg, but Joyce thought I did the work, put it up there, but I didn't want to put it on my page and look like I was being competitive. Yeah, it does. And I'm not going with the guidance system either. That's too much. I'm just going to go with a very two-dimensional running there. And by the way, EFO, I just want to say I really, really, really appreciate everything you offer on this channel. You have ideas, you have knowledge, you help us out if I don't know or I'm in error. You and Jean Ricard too. I do appreciate that. I hope you really get a sense of how much I appreciate you guys contributing on this channel when I'm talking American and history of stuff, because I don't know. I only know what I've learned, and I've studied a lot and tried to learn a lot, but I don't have the practical experience of years behind. So I am honored that you come in to help us out with that, and that you keep coming back. I'm pleased, because we do have a small but loyal following. We're the biggest little live stream there is. But yeah, we've got some. Joyce took on another tough 80s pop song that she did the vocals for the other night, and so now I'm just building. It took a few takes. It took a few starts. Joyce is, you've heard me use this phrase, and I was just talking about it. Hey, Heath, welcome in. There's another guy that loves to. Am I a Weird Al fan? Absolutely, I'm a Weird Al fan. That was one of the questions I didn't answer in that video I put up where I was talking about answering some questions. I did get a few questions again recently because we have gained some new people onto the channel, and they write me emails or post comments on the song videos and ask, where do you come up with this, or would you do this song? And so I just thought I'd put that out there. But one thing we didn't talk about was somebody asked, did Weird Al inspire me? And I kind of answered that without mentioning it. No, Weird Al did not inspire me. He hasn't expired either. Weird Al did not inspire me to start doing parody songs and videos. I've been doing parody songs since I was a little kid. And no, I'm not claiming I invented the genre or anything. Parody songs go back to the Middle Ages. You know, people have always done it. It's just been a knack I have. I'm a good wordsmith. I'm able to slap lines and words and poetic forms together. And yeah, and being a bit quick-witted, I like to consider myself. As anybody learns when they banter with me. But yeah, I love it. The thing is, doing the parody videos and really scripting the songs and the lyrics to really work in the videos, I probably have an even greater appreciation for the talent Weird Al puts into it. Even though he didn't write the song, the effort he puts in, because I do the same thing. When I'm having Joyce sing, we do cuts and cuts where I'm like, no, you've got to sing it like this. This is how the person we're mimicking sings it. You've got to sing it like this, because I don't want it to just be where the words kind of fit the rhythm. I want the inflections, the vocal intonations. I want those to be accurate. And when you have Weird Al doing his parody videos, not only are the videos funny and the lyrics funny, but he matches the singer's style of singing 100%. So I've gained a big appreciation for that. Hey, Simon, how are you? So I do it. It's, you know, I get a couple of friends that say, oh, this one should go viral. And they're not going to go viral. It's too limited a nuance. Now, if I were to start a different channel, and if I had a better voice, and if I were a better video maker, then I might be able to do a parody song. But again, that's one of the things I limit myself to. For this channel, it's got to be train hobby related. And then when you're doing a parody, it's got to be from a perspective of, you know, one of the memes, the tropes of the model train hobby. Now, our newest one that will come out this weekend, I don't know if I'll get it out tomorrow or Sunday, because I just started making the video. We've got the music done. Joyce has done her vocals. We've got that all lined up. We've got the lyrics in the video. We just now have to add the images and video. But it's a crazy thing. Hey, the Highball and Hogger's here. Hey, Dale, how are you? All right. Well, anyhow, the last thing I want to mention, and I'll start getting the trains going here, is we've gone kind of quiet on it because life happens. But I am planning within the next couple of weeks to do the Chris Hales memorial live stream, which would be on a Wednesday morning. I will give more details posted on this page and on my Facebook train page. But we need to get that done and just once and for all. But for those of you who don't know, most of you do know, my last friend, well, I shouldn't say my last friend, my last type is in his final stages. I don't know if Christmas we'll see him with us. And so Joyce and I went up and visited last week. We're hoping to go up next week and like every other week as we can when it fits into other schedules, because we have other obligations. We just had a bunch of family birthdays. My son is in preps for getting married. There's a lot of stuff off camera that is, some of it's good, some of it's bad. That's life. So anyhow, we've got the trains running. I don't have a major theme today. The big deal is I'll let you guys see if you can figure out what is the one unique thing about today's video. But we'll get all the trains going here. But I'm still running 3 of the double-deckers. So last week was all double-deckers. But I've got 3 of the double-deckers still going. Right above me, you can see the IC2 is going. And then below me, you could see the Regiobahn double-deckers going. And then way below me, you can see the blue metronome is going. So I only changed out, of the 6 trains I run, I only changed out 3 of them. I do have a freight train running, although I know it doesn't seem like it, but I would say at least 35-40% of the time I do have a freight train going. But there is something I have not done, I think, ever on a live stream with a freight train. I shouldn't say that, I think I have, but it's been a long time. Hey, Lee is here. Which Zio Fleischman used. Yeah, I wouldn't know. I wouldn't know that one. It's been a very long time if I've done it on a live stream, but now that I think about it, I think early on I did it once or twice. But it's been a long time, at least a year, if not more than a year. Hey, Jackie, how are you? Yesterday was Lucy's birthday. Okay. I caught you remembering the one that had passed, but I did not put together it was also Lucy. Have I had the GoPro on the freight train? At times, yes, I have put the GoPro on the freight train. But that is not what is happening today. Let me see if I could go. Let's go to the long view. Bam. There you can see the freight train going around me. You can see it coming around me here. And that's a hint. See, J777? Who's J777? Did I miss somebody? And Dwight Curley's here. Hi, Dwight. Hey, there's Christopher. He's back in. Nice to have you, Christopher. That was a cool video you popped up. I think it was today. I have been missing a lot of YouTube, and that's why I might be commenting on some of your videos a few hours later than normal. Hey, Ray. A new record for live streams, 2 in a week. There you go. They're always trains I like. No, this is the first time in a long, long time that the freight train is actually doing the full loop. Usually when I do freight trains, they do one of the little short loops here. That's the big deal. I know. Lame, I know. I'm ashamed of myself. But that's the big deal. I'm letting a freight train run the whole layout instead of just doing the short loop here. That's the big deal. Wow. Do you reincarnate, Mystic, or is that a video game? I actually toyed with adding all the containers and just trying to run the longest freight train I've ever run. I just wasn't sure, and I didn't give myself enough time to test it, but I could have put all my my 6 container cars and a couple other things. But yeah, this is the first time in over a year, maybe close to 2 years, that I've had a freight train running one of the 3 outer circuits, as opposed to just running the little short bit there. So that's the big deal today. But that's literally all but one of my containers. That is literally all but one of my containers. Hey, Nick is here. Nice to have you, Nick. And Tim. Hiya, Tim. And greetings to Rosie and the kids. Hope you're all well. Kieran. Kieran, how nice to have the J94. One of these days, I'm going to just buy myself a J94 locomotive as a shelf queen, just in memory of you and the years we've known each other. The help and the information you've given me over the years, Kieran. And this does happen in Delmenhorst. Even though Delmenhorst has 3 lines and 3 platforms, freight trains do go through. And they'll make the announcement, stand back, non-stopping freight train coming through. Hey, there's Andrew from March West. So we've got a couple of our Andrews here. I just wish this camera would maintain its focus. I probably should go into the adjustments and do it. But there's that container freighter one more time. Like I said, I toyed with adding all the tankers with it as well. But it's all my containers save one. But for those who like the double-deckers, they're there. And I'm running some single-deckers as well. So there's that freighter going up. So it's about as, well, it's not the longest freight train I can put together, but it's definitely the longest container wagon train I can put together. And now you can see I'm running the IC1 with that 218. Paul Bozeman from Tommy's Trains has been doing a series of cool videos about an old Lima 218 that he's converted and fixed up. I do have another 218 that I'm hoping will come in, hoping for birthday or Christmas. I want to get a Fair Cares Rote 218, but I also want to get the green, what do they call it? Ocean Blue and Cream is the official colors. Genre card, EFO, you guys know what I'm talking about. The older Deutsche Bahn coloration livery. Is it called Ocean Blue and Cream? It is possible, yes, because the freight does come through all three of the platforms. I have seen it come through all three. It's which platform does not have a passenger train on it at the time. Keep trying to adjust his camera, but it keeps tilting back the other way. Here we go, a nice little double header coming at you. The first livery was red and gray. Okay. So it is called Ocean Blue and Cream. Thank you, Jean Ricard. Because I still see the Ocean Blue and Creams. Now, Paul Bozeman had one that was an old Lima, and it was red and white. It was probably meant to be the red and gray, but it was actually red and white. The purple, yeah, the diesel red. Yeah, I've seen models of those. I have never seen one in Germany. I have seen the Verkehrsrot, and I've seen the Ocean Blue and Cream. When we were in southwestern Bavaria, we saw several. They were pulling Swiss. They had Swiss Eurocity cars. They had Swiss Eurocities. But they had Deutsche Bahn DBs, and it was always one in Verkehrsrot and one in one in Ocean Blue and Cream. Hey, Mark, how are you? Hope you're getting better. Yeah, it was funny, Mark. I don't know why I mentioned that to you because, you posted up your video where you were asking about if anybody had any, HO, 00 scale military figures. And it just, yeah, I collected those from childhood and painted them because I was a huge military history nut. I just loved military history. And so I had thousands of them, probably 50, 60% of them painted. But I had thousands of them. I had World War I, World War II, American Civil War, Napoleonic Wars. With World War World War II, I had all kinds of, I had Anzacs and I had Gurkhas. Not Gherkins, Gurkhas, Russian and Japanese and American Marines, British, French. But I guess it just brought back. I sold them off as part of a fundraiser years ago. I think I sold, I had a bag of 50 soldiers each and just sold them all for 50 cents or $1. But I just had airfix soldiers everywhere. But when I moved up to 25 and 28 millimeter tabletop wargaming, I just didn't need them anymore. I didn't use them anymore. They were hard to paint, even, HO scale is still hard to paint. Almost impossible for me. But when I moved up to 28 millimeter and got into not really Warhammer 40K, or I started with military, American Civil War, Napoleonic stuff. But then I got into medieval warfare. Of all the histories of war I've studied from classical Roman, I've got war games up the wazoo. I've got so many war games, it's ridiculous. Actually, I don't have as many as I used to have, but I've got a few here. I mean, just to give you examples of what I'm talking about. I'm going to go big screen here for a second. All right, but I have stuff like this. Battle for the Ardennes. Oh my God, this game is 40-some years old. I bought this in the 70s. 40-year-old notes, 30-year-old notes. Order of Battles. Woo! Musty. But they played these on these little hexagon maps. I don't know if anybody else was ever into this, but I was huge into this stuff. And all military eras. From the 80s, the Third World War game. World War I, the Great War in the East, the company SPI. There was Avalon Hill, SPI, Victory Games. Game Designers Workshop. There were dozens of makers. I was big into that. Those kind of war games. Yeah, the Avalon Hill bookcase games. I got a bunch of them over here. Hey, Stuart, nice to have you. Another great video, man. Stuart, I love your videos. I think my praise probably sounds like a tape recorder anymore. And I'm sorry, guys. After a while, there's only so many words, and I'm quite the dictionary and thesaurus, but I mean it. I'm not insincere. Maybe you get sick of being told that looks awesome, because sometimes I feel like an idiot, because I'll go, oh my God, that looks great. 3 weeks later, somebody tears it out, goes, I hated it. It looked great. Hey, Gary, thanks for popping in. I appreciate that. Now, sadly, I did sell off a bunch of them, Mark, but I've got a ton more. But I probably sold off about 60 to 70% of my wargaming collection. Between 2000, well, the first big sell-off was 1992 when we bought this house. I sold a bunch of stuff. I sold all my old Star Wars stuff just to help raise money for the down payment. I was already 13, going on 14 when the first Star Wars movie came out, but I got all the toys anyhow. I had a younger brother, and we just got all the toys. You didn't mention that in school at the time, but my brother and I played Star Wars forever. But we had everything, the Death Star play sets, everything. And so I sold all that for a small fortune. I had a baseball card collection and football card collection that I sold all in 1992 to help buy this house. And I sold some of my war games. But I then started selling a lot of my war games between 2003 and 2012 because we would have garage sales at the school, rummage sales, to to raise money for our trip to Germany, and I'd always pitch in some stuff like, I don't play this anymore. Yeah, it was, but the first thing I did was I saved my favorite game from each genre. So I have my favorite set of games from medieval history, and my favorite set of World War I games, and my favorite World War II games, and my favorite, those were favorites. They're not going anywhere. And then I got rid of the rest. There were some I bought because you couldn't play test them. It's not like computer games and the internet today where you can have people play test it. You bought the game, and then if it sucked, too bad. You were out 20, 30, 40 bucks, even back in the, and for a teenager and a guy in his 20s working through college when I left West Point, 30 bucks was not something I could just easily drop down on a war game. But man, I enjoy that. I should go back to trains and stop babbling there. Hey, we got Roy Eltham. Haven't seen you in a while. Ifo, no. I would love to go to Europe and do a World War I battlefield tour. But just to make clear, when I've been to Europe, I have been in Germany, Austria, the Czech Republic. That's it. Briefly into the Netherlands. We went to Groningen in the Netherlands. Once. We spent a day in Groningen with my students. So I would love to tour some of the World War I battlefields. To be honest, I would love to tour some of the great battlefields of medieval times, or even into Napoleonic times. I would love to see Waterloo. I would love to see Austerlitz. And again, I don't know how much is there. Now, I've been in Dresden twice, and the Battle of Five Armies was just outside of Leipzig. It's only about an hour and a half drive from Dresden to get there and do it, but I haven't done it because it's something that is so purely my interest and talking Joyce into it. But otherwise, we'd have to go into France, Holland, and Belgium to really see the World War I battlefields, and we just have never gotten over there. But oh my God, I would want to. But yeah, I just loved my military history. I was never that I loved it so much that I would memorize every type of tank and plane and vehicle at a certain, but I always did appropriate, like, okay, the P-51 Mustang did not fight in this place at this time in World War II. But yeah, World War I was a love of mine. Just it's a love-hate relationship because it was such a brutal and horrible war, and my grandfather fought in it, and would not talk about it. And he was an American, so he only fought at the end. He wasn't at the height of the ugliness of the trench warfare. The British, German, Dutch, Belgian, all the people that suffered at those times or fought in the trenches, it was horrifying what they went through. And the incompetence of all the general staffs. And just realized once the trench warfare came in, it was just stupid that, the cost of life was not worth the 20 feet gain. Oh, no, I'm sorry. You're right. The Battle of Caporetto is a favorite study of mine. In fact, I've got a game still here. In fact, that Great War in the East, the Great War in the East, that actually includes the Italian campaign, and I've got the Battle of Caporetto in it, when the Germans and Austro-Hungarians shattered the Italian army. And I know that's not the battle you're talking about, but so I did not mention it, but I did not forget it. But in fact, that's the computer game. I've been replaying Crusades. I don't know if anybody knows the old computer game Crusades. I've been playing that on Steam for the last 3-4 weeks. And I know it's not accurate to medieval warfare, but it's castles, it's knights and archers, and it's fun. Hey, welcome there, Eric. Nice to have you here. When you were demobilized, you got rid of all your wargaming equipment? Well, there are some people that play the real war games. I am the first generation in my family that did not serve in active duty somewhere. My brother and I are the first generation. I spent part of an academic year at the American Military Academy, West Point. But that was it. Yes, I did military training camp, but that was it. Otherwise, no. The funny thing is, my dad fought in Korea, and I considered joining the Army, and my dad did not want me going into the military. Do not go into the military. You know, use your brain and do something, and I apologize if that's not. But my dad fought in Korea, suffered an injury in Korea, and my dad really was one of the people that thought maybe the Korean War was not a war they needed to be fought. But again, that's his view. I have a slightly different view. But he fought there, I didn't. And but I always felt part of it, he was bitter, is because his injury ended his dreams of being a professional football player. Which he really tried to put. I mean, that was the biggest thing my dad pushed me into. He wanted me to be a professional football player. But be that as it may, then when West Point came and asked me to apply, which they don't usually do, I was told, but I don't know, they came to me. I didn't go to them, they came to me. And I got in. Took a little work to pass their physical, but I got into West Point, and then all of a sudden my dad was told, yeah, go to West Point, yeah, West Point, go, that's it. I was like, but Dad, I don't know, I don't know if I want to be an officer in the military. Go to West Point, you'll have your life made, you can do 20 years and retire, and you'll be a colonel, and blah, blah, maybe even a general, And all of a sudden my dad totally did an about-face with my military life. So apparently he just didn't want me being a grunt, but being an officer. And at that time, I was torn between wanting to tell my dad what cliff to jump off and just make him happy once in his life. So I did start at West Point, but it's not what I really wanted to be doing. Hey, Split Rock, how are you? Which passenger train looks like it has no windows? Or are you referring to my freight train? In all honesty, Eric, I think I would probably have been happier being a grunt than an officer myself. But, I wound up being neither. I have nothing but respect for all the people that do serve in the military, in any country, really. At the same time, I don't think somebody is automatically a hero and a good guy because they served in the military. There's a lot of students I taught and a lot of people I know that were assholes and went into the military, and they were simply assholes who went into the military. So, I don't automatically give somebody an automatic pass, and I know that's going to probably offend half of Americans today, but, I don't automatically, I respect and I salute and I honor, but at the same time, it doesn't mean I automatically think you're a good person. The train on the outermost loop is my IC1. Let's catch it coming up the ramp right there. That is my IC1. That is a high-speed train, but it has a locomotive and passenger cars instead of being double-ended Steuerwagen. And then the IC2 is next to it. So I'm running the IC1, the IC2, and then I am running a freighter, which is very rare where I run a freighter actually on the outer loops. Not an ICE1, an IC1. No E. In fact, that's how you tell the difference between an ICE and an IC. An ICE doesn't have a locomotive. It has Steuerwagen, control cabs. An IC will have a locomotive. And then an IC1 is all single-decker cars, and an IC2 is the new generation that came out 2015, 2016, that is double-decker. Nope, it's for express. You have the Intercity and the Intercity Express. So the E is for express. So you have Intercity and then the Intercity Express. In the old German Deutsche Bahn nomenclature, and I'm going to keep this simplified, Ifo and John, basically, whenever a train was labeled as an express, it simply meant it ran the same routes as the regular trains, but made fewer stops, and therefore it would get to places faster. So an intercity would stop at like all big cities, all Bahnhofs. The Intercity Express would only stop at Hauptbahnhof, although that's no longer true. But still, the idea is the same. The ICEs only stop at certain stations where the IC will stop at more stations. Yes, Mark, that's exactly what express means. They throw you out. We slow down to 100 kilometers an hour. Jump out now. Older express coaches have fewer doors too, yes. So, yeah, it's the only nomenclature I have even a rough understanding of, because it's changed since I started going to Germany. My first trip to Germany was 2003, and back then they had regionals, they had RBs, Regio Bahn, and they had REs, Regio Express. The Bahn stopped at, the RBs stopped at every little town that had a stop. The REs skipped some of the smaller towns and hit bigger towns and cities. But back then, even the plates, the destination things would call it RE. Like, there was a train we rode all the time. It was, and one of my trains is named that in my control system. We rode the RE 4411. It was the RE 4411 that picked you up at 858 in Delmenhorst and dropped you off at Bremen at 9:09, and then we caught a train, an RB, a slower train from Bremen. No, we caught another RE. Let me start over. Yeah, we caught the 4411 that took us to Bremen, and then we would change trains at Bremen and take another RE to Hanover, and then from Hanover we would pick up a train to go to a little town called Goslar. We'd pick up an RB. Now that is a I don't even think they use the RB nomenclature anymore, but it's a private company called Eric's that does most of the trains from Hanover to Goslar and Bad Harzburg. Hey, Damian Laufer, how are you? All right, thank you, Gary. Take care. Does Deutsche Bahn run passenger trains abroad? Well, if you mean outside of Germany, yes. There are certain ICEs, and then there are ECs, which are Euro cities, which are jointly run by, for example, there are ECs that run between the Czech Republic and Northern Germany. And they're jointly run by the Czech Republic and Deutsche Bahn. But then there are ICEs that do run from Germany to other countries. Just like I can go to certain stations in Germany and see Austrian rail jets, because like the Austrian rail jets go everywhere. Yeah, they run up to Amsterdam. I think they go up to Copenhagen, don't they, Jean Ricard? Isn't there an ICE that goes? I know there are ICEs that go into France. There are some of the TGVs and Thalys that come into Germany. I have heard, but I don't know if it's true, and I don't remember where I heard it from. It was either a rumor or they were talking about that they were going to set up an ICE that would run, a couple of different ICEs that would run and do the Eurotunnel and go to the United Kingdom. I have heard there is talk of a ICE from Germany to London. Right now, you take an ICE to like Paris, and then you hop on a Eurostar or whatever to take a train over to, or even Calais, I think it is, to go over to London. That's one thing I would love to do, is next time we go to the UK, is ride a train from somewhere in the UK over to France and then spend a couple of days in France. But it has been shelved. All right, thank you, Nick. See, this is why I love this. Somebody knows. Somebody always knows. Hey, Randall's here. Good to have you. Hope you're feeling well. Until Bad Bentheim. I've been to Bad Bentheim. Because Bad Bentheim still has the castle, which is very similar to the castle that no longer exists. It was designed by the same military castle designer in Germany at the time. But the castle Bad Bentheim is a bigger version of the same castle that was in Delmenhorst. But the castle in Delmenhorst doesn't exist anymore. There's a few foundation stones to one of the towers and one of the walls, but that's it. Otherwise, it is completely gone. So there are some Danish trains that run to Hamburg. Yes, and it does look a bit like an ICE, I agree. I have a Eurostar. It just can't run on my layout. I bought it stupidly thinking I could convert it, and it can't be converted. Darn you, Hornby. How do you get a job as a castle designer? Well, it seemed the biggest thing was when it really became a profession was after the First Crusade. Because European castle building and fortifications were very substandard. And when they went on the First Crusade at the end of the 11th century, 1095, and I think the troops arrived 1097, 1098, and they got to the Middle East, they were like, oh, damn. And then after the Third Crusade especially, a lot of military engineers brought what they had learned in the sieges and the wars during the Crusades, and they brought it back to Europe. And you saw a huge technological change all the way up through Vauban and the Vauban fortifications. Vauban was one of the earliest Europeans to come up with the concept of a killing field and crossfire. Basically the Star Point fortifications that continued on into the 1800s, like Ticonderoga, Fort Ticonderoga in upstate New York. The star shape that started as Vauban fortifications, a French military engineer. Brilliant. Hey, Richard Brown is here. Nice to have you here. But that's, to me, that one of the coolest train rides is called the Romantic Rhine. And you start, let's say, you know, you can start in well, not Koblenz, let's start further north. Start in Köln, which everybody speaks English calls it Cologne. But you start in Köln, and you go all the way down to, like, Bingen, and there's just castles are like mile markers on both sides of the river. Big, beautiful castles, small, little, almost Motte and Bailey, but stone fortifications, because everybody built a castle along the Rhine. Anybody who had any access to the Rhine built a castle on it and then charged taxes. All right, well, if you're heading out, Eric, thanks for stopping in. I really appreciate it. Well, there actually are a few. For example, in the city of Saint-Goar, which I've stayed in 3 times with my students, there's a big castle, one of the biggest castles in Europe, called Rheinfels. And they are slowly excavating and restoring Rheinfels. Now, it still is just a big ruins overall, but every now and then they add another section to it. But other castles have been completely restored. There's one on the Rhine in a town called Braubach, called the Marksburg. And the Marksburg is a tiny little castle. It was a small little lesser nobles castle, but it's the only castle on the Rhine River that was never conquered or destroyed in war. It's the only one. All the other castles on the Rhine had suffered some kind of major damage or siege and had been captured or been severely damaged during all the various wars, even up to the Napoleonic Wars. The Marksburg is a tiny little castle, but it's the only one on the Rhine River that never suffered capture or serious damage in war. Mostly because it's probably considered so small it didn't matter. No, there's probably no money in flipping castles, Thomas. It has to be done as a historical research thing. The money might be the workers who come in and do it, but it's not like you're going to turn around and sell the castle. You're going to make your money on tourism. But, you know, that was when Joyce and I went to the UK. I mean, one of the biggest things was we wanted to see castles. Even Joyce was big on wanting to see castles. And, you know, most of the castles we saw were in various states of damage and ruin. But Conwy and Carnarvon Castle were amazing. Carnarvon Castle was a pipe dream I had had my whole life since I was 8 years old, and I saw it at the age of 58. So I had to wait 50 years, but Carnarvon Castle was amazing. I loved Carnarvon Castle. And Conwy was also very impressive. But Carnarvon was just at a different level. I still didn't get to see Harlech. I didn't make it over to Balmoral or Anglesey. But the dad jokes begin. Yeah, because of all those Welsh castles that Edward I built, Harlech is the one that suffered the most sustained siege and had the hardest battle from the Welsh trying to take it down. Yes, Split Rock, it is quite probable that when Joyce and I stood on the highest turret of Carnarvon Castle, as well as the Tower of London, that a very bad French accent was done and several taunts were hurled down. Yes. Your mother was a hamster and your father smelled of elderberries. Now go away before I taunt you a second time. But, you know, the UK trip, I wanted to post some of our video of each of the cities we went to. But even with editing, the videos are still an hour to an hour and a half or more long. I don't think anybody's going to want to watch our holiday. And it's like, if I go back and really try to edit it out any further, I don't know. I might as well just throw some pictures up. But then again, nobody watches most of the stuff on my channel anyhow. Of course I am French. What do you think? I have this outrageous accent. Now go away, you silly English knigget. Now go away before I taunt you a second time. Hey, Joe Rader's here. Nice to have you here, sir. There's no such thing as being late to this stream. This stream is just one big circle. Nothing new happens. It's same old, same old. You just jump in and catch up. I told them we already got one. Oh yes, it's a very nice. Holy Grail is a classic. My friends and I've probably watched Holy Grail 100 times, at least, if not 200 times. I've got a few movies that I have seen way too many times. What happens next, Sir Bedivere? Well, You, Galahad and I, then sneak out of the rabbit at night and open up the gate. What's that? You, Sir Galahad and Lancelot and I, sneak out of the rabbit and open the gate. Ah, you idiot. Twing, and the whole flying rabbit comes back. If we built a giant badger... The one thing I'm going to do is, I actually have a start of it, but I'm going to, in the one section, I am going to build the park where the Dumb and Horse Castle was, and I'm going to put the foundation stones of the castle on that little bit. But I do love castles. It's just, Bremen really doesn't have castles. Dumb and Horse had a castle, but doesn't have one anymore. The Hanover's got a castle outside of Hanover, but that's actually a postmodern reproduction castle. The Marienburg. Hi, hey George, how are you? Yeah, I know, I could cut the video into parts and like part 1, part 2, part 3. I could do that. Again, I just don't know how many people would watch my vacation video on a train channel, but nobody watches anything I put up anyhow. Which is the most expensive Fowler kit? I know it's their one castle, because I see it going for $200 to $300 at times. Falkenberg or something like that. But I know, like, Märklin does a brewery, a special release brewery from a few years ago that if you buy all the parts separate, it's like $400 to get all the parts to their brewery model kit they had. But yeah, it's a castle. Liechtenstein Castle, Falkenberg Castle, I forget which one. I have you at a Schloss. There's a good pun. So Kiwi Dave is taking off. All right, take care. No Castle Bran, nope. No Castle Dracula. No Castle Bran, no Castle Fiber. But yeah, so that was, again, that was one of the big highlights. So Cardiff Castle was a real nice surprise. I mean, I knew there was a castle in Cardiff, but I didn't know much about it. Joyce did not like the old Norman Keep, Mott and Bailey Hill one, but she loved the 14th and 15th century Gothic add-on section at Cardiff Castle. She loved that. I had not seen her that ecstatic over visiting a castle before, but she loved that section of Cardiff Castle. Yeah, but you could get all those houses separately, Mark. They have a whole line of streets of Goethestrasse, and yeah, you can buy the one kit that's $100 and some bucks, but the castle, I forget the name of it. It's either Liechtenstein Castle or Falkenberg Castle. I forget which one. And I've been waiting for Evo to tell me. Oh, Bran is priced at 600 euros. I had not heard or seen Castle Bran. Don't show her Segovia Castle. Well, there are some palaces in Spain that would probably blow her mind as well. The Alhambra would probably blow her mind down in Spain, southern Spain. But she loved Rheinfeld's castle on the Rhine River. but that is because she had a special interaction with my students. The first time we went to the Rheinfeld's Castle, the students were just so into it because they'd never seen a castle before. And it was our first time at it. And my students were just all agog, and they were like, Mr. Dodge, come with me. Mrs. Dodge, come with me. And she just had a great time running around with the students through the tunnels and the dark halls and checking it all out with the students. And the kids were excited to be sharing what they had discovered with her, because we stayed at a hostel right next to the castle. So the kids could go up to the castle all the time. So when we went there as a group to tour the whole castle, the kids couldn't wait to show Joyce and me what they had already discovered. So, she loved Rheinfeld's, I think, just through that experience. We've been in the Marksburg Castle 5 or 6 times. Alhambra and Cordoba twice. Segovia and Cordoba. Cordoba. I don't know that I've been to a castle that I would call a disappointment. The one I thought would be a disappointment because it's a fake castle is the most famous castle in Germany, Neuschwanstein, the fairy tale castle, the one that Disney Castle is based on. When you think of castles in Germany, you think of that famous castle on the hill, but that was built in the 1860s, 1870s. It's not a, quote, real castle. It's a real castle, but it was actually built more as a stage, like the world's greatest stage. It was built to be an exaggerated view of what epic Germanic poetry castles were supposed to look like. It was all meant that you could literally produce the epic German Tannhäuser drama in it. But when we actually got there and saw it from the bridge, it was still impressive. It was, because we were like, oh, it's a fake castle, it's a fake, but we got there and we're like, oh, damn, that's cool. But otherwise, I can't think of a castle that was disappointing. I enjoyed the Tower of London. I enjoyed every castle we saw in the UK. Edinburgh Castle, seen it. Now, by the time we did Edinburgh Castle, we had been in like 10 castles, and Joyce was getting a little castle weary. Seeing Edinburgh Castle was great. Edinburgh Castle was great. Walking through it was cool, but we're kind of like, okay, from the inside, we've seen a lot of castles like this. But the view up to it and the views from it were amazing. The Croix des Chevaliers in Syria. Well, I've never made it to the Middle East. I've never made it to the Middle East. Don't think I ever will. It's not a place high on my bucket list. Even ancient Rome and Greece are not high on my bucket list. I've got so many other places I want to go to. And Scandinavia. And so many more places in Europe. And like Aoife was asking earlier, I would love to do a World War I battlefield tour. I just don't know if I'll ever talk Joyce into that. No, Mark, on the flip side, they definitely did not enjoy the Tower of London. All your family's castles are ruins now. Very few people enjoyed their time at the Tower of London. Or should I have gone the other way, Mark, and said, yes, they lost their heads over it? Oh, they really were into the Tower of London, man. They lost their heads over it. I'm Henry VIII, I am. Henry VIII, I am. I got married to the widow next door. She's been married 7 times before, and everyone was a Henry. She wouldn't marry a Willie or a Sam. No, Sam, I'm the 8th old man named Henry. I'm Henry. No, but if you managed to survive it, you came out taller, Ray. That's a rack joke. That's what I liked about the Tower of London. It had a huge rack. Well, I haven't done my job until you've pissed yourself laughing or milk comes out of your nose. Indeed, Ifo. I would love to go to Italy. Italy is on the list. And again, no matter what country I mention, you know, the problem is I didn't start traveling till I was 40. And a lot of people, you know, this was one of the things that was so interesting between the kids I took to Germany and the kids that they partnered with who then came to America is for 95% of my kids, this was their first trip out of country, and that includes Canada. You know, 95% of the students I took to Germany, this was their first time leaving the United States. This was their first time in probably 70% of their cases being more than 2 hours away from home. The kids I took did not travel, and I didn't travel. And their partners in Germany like, oh yeah, our school did a holiday in Poland last year. Oh, we went to Hungary in 6th grade as part of a school trip. Oh, we went to France and we drove up to the Netherlands, up to Denmark. They've been throughout Europe, and they get to go. They go on vacations and go to Italy and go to Spain. And as Americans, working class Americans, that experience is just not in the realm of possibilities. And of course, even though I started traveling in my 40s, it was Germany. And I had students in tow. And it was not always the same trip, but it was mostly the same trip. When I took students to Germany, we lived in the city of Delmenhorst, and there were certain places we went every year. We went to Berlin for 3 days, Berlin and Potsdam for 3 days every year. We went to Goslar for a day. We went to Hamburg for a day. We went to Osnabrück for a day. We went to Bremen because we were a suburb of Bremen. And then their host families might take them other places. And then they had a special trip where we went 4 days on the Rhine, 4 days in the Alps, or 4 days in Dresden, or Dresden, as we say over there. So they had... and although they spent a month in Germany, that was their travel. And we did that. We just rotated the Alps, the Rhine, or Dresden trip. But otherwise, all the trips they did the same. So when we decided to travel, we wanted to go back to Germany. And that's what Joyce and I did in 2017 and 2019. We went back to Germany just to experience without students, to just go and see the things we couldn't see because we had students with us. And because I have a love of Germany, an obsession with Germany, we still have so many things to go see in Germany. I mean, the next 10 things on my bucket list are still places in Germany or connected to Germany. Hey, Digger, how are you? Nice to have you here. You drove that trip. That would have been cool. Because, like, I watched Alan Reynolds. I fell in love with Alan Reynolds' channel when he did his trip down to Spain for his wife's ashes to put him on the beach where they always went for their vacation. But to watch him drive through France in his little caravan, to drive through France and Spain was just brilliant. I lived it vicariously because I doubt I would ever do that. when I was a 12-year-old, I had fantasies of driving a car or even riding a bike across Europe. And that was back in the Cold War era. But I had dreams of doing it. But, yeah, when you're 12 and poor, you have dreams, and most times they don't grow up to reality. I'm kind of jealous of all the people that did get to go to all these places where they got jobs to go to all these places. I'm jealous, but at the same time, I'm grateful I've gotten to do what I've done. And going to the UK was brilliant because it was the first place we've gone where Joyce and I were in the same boat. Because usually in Germany, it's like, I speak the language, I can handle all this, and Joyce is just kind of my prisoner. But in the UK, we were both, I don't know. Neither one of us spoke Welsh or Scottish Gaelic. And I didn't go into the military, where the military can give you a chance to see parts of the world. I still get letters and emails from students, hey, I've just got stationed in Germany. Now I'm in Japan. Tell Mr. Kitamura I'm now in Japan. Okay. So, yeah, but my favorite parts of those letters were the kids are like, I got made platoon leader or squad leader because I spoke some German and knew how the German train system worked. So I got put in charge of this. Well, I don't even think you should regret things you didn't do as long as you did things. I'm jealous of the people that have spent. My YouTube was spinning, but nothing was happening here. But I'm not bitter jealous. I envy them that I would, and in a way Joyce and I could, but we still have hopefully many years together to go experience some of this. But that I've gotten to go to Germany as often as I did was brilliant. The fact that I shared it with 140 of my students over a 13-year period was an amazing honor and gift. I took 140 kids, and I would take 139 back. There's one kid I want to take back. But I could have been a lawyer and had the money. I could have been. I'm intelligent enough. I would have been driven enough. But when I was young, I had that. Pay it forward sort of things. There were a lot of teachers who helped me when I was young, and I kind of fell into teaching and wanted to give back. I wanted to be the teacher that saved the one kid like a couple of teachers helped save me. But teaching didn't pay a lot, but I knew that going in. But the flip side was that our retirement was nice, that they gave us a nice buyout when we retired. And so now I'm able to do it. So now Joyce and I can travel, but our travel's limited to how long Joyce wants to be away from home, and the fact that she still works and I don't. I've had a love affair with Dresden ever since I was little. My aunt Frida was from the Dresden area, and when I was a little kid, she used to tell us about how beautiful it was. And when the Russian army started advancing, the family moved to Berlin, and then got trapped in Berlin. and she survived that, and she worked. She lived in the side that the Americans got. She lived in the part that the Americans took over after the war, and she worked at Tempelhof Airport. And that's where she met my uncle, because my uncle stayed in the United States Air Force, the Army Air Force after World War II. He stayed in Germany. He stayed stationed in Germany, and he flew bombers during the war, and then he did the Berlin airlift. So he would fly into Tempelhof, and that's where he met her, and that's where their love developed. And then he brought her and her family over here. All right, take care, Ray. If you're bowling, have a great night. Nancy, nice to see you. Hey, Herb, hope you're well. Haven't heard from you in a long time, and of course you haven't heard from me in a long time. I am so bad about emails. It's one of those horrible things. Although I did send one off, and then I got the reply that I'd be hearing from you, and then time passes. Just hope you've been well. I know you've had a crazy time up there, crazy summer. But it's you know, you only get one life. And some people are born with a silver spoon in their life and have everything handed to them. Some people have to work for it. Some people don't work for it. It's people are people, but I'm not bitter at what I didn't get to do. I'm grateful for what I have been able to do. And if I didn't make it to all these cool places in the world, I can balance that again with the 140 students that I showed a much bigger world to. And they have stories to tell their family and their families to come. And their memories with Mr. Dodge in Germany. Your optics are doubled. You're supposed to get snow today. There were flurries north of us. They had flurries forecasted for us, but it stayed warm enough. But there was just a hint that there might be some snow in the air or freezing rain. I've traveled more than a lot of people, and not nearly as much as many people, but I'm grateful. I think anybody that meets Joyce and me when we're over there, I think they see the absolute childlike enthusiasm and joy we have just being there. You know, we went to Wales, and hey, we didn't go here and we didn't go there, but what we saw in Wales, we were giggly kids in a candy store. This is cool. Joyce and I just go to bed and we're just like, this was so amazing. Can you believe all the things we did today? All the things, who would have thought? You know, when we got married, we didn't think we'd ever see Cardiff, Wales, or Carnarvon Castle, or Liverpool. Dreamt of it, but didn't think. Now, I have traveled extensively in the United States by car. I have been in somewhere between 42 and 44 of the contiguous U.S. states, either as a passenger in my dad's family truckster or on my own. I've driven 70, 80, 90, 60, 50, and 40. I've driven 75, 95, 85, 65, and I'm not talking speed. I did it my way. Okay, that's enough. But yeah, if you didn't see, because I posted like 3 videos 3 days in a row, which is very strange for this channel. Usually I'll go a couple of months without anything but the live stream. But we did get, Joyce and I did do, well, it's still me. If you haven't seen Joyce's video, Talk Talk, go watch that. I think she does a bang-up job singing that, which is a tough song to sing. All You Do to Me Is Talk Trains. That was epic. I had a lot of fun writing that song, and Joyce and I had a good time recording that. Greg did his version of the Chris Isaacs Wicked Game, singing my lyrics, but Greg sings it, which was awesome. Before that, I did my version of Peter Gabriel, Salisbury Hill. And before that, almost 2 months ago, Joyce did You Can't Buy That, which was a great one. But what I'd love is for people that have actually watched all the songs to, I don't know, let me know what your favorites are. If you're a fan of our parody songs, do you have a couple of favorites? Ones that you even go back and watch again because it makes you chuckle. Because a lot of times it's always the hottest one off the press is the fave. But that was one of the questions I got. Somebody asked me to pick my favorite parody we've done, and I can't. The minute I pick one, I start saying but. And sometimes my favorite parody song is not the best videos we produce. I still love my version of the Logical Song by Supertramp. I still, it doesn't get the views some of the other video gets, but two of my immediate just favorites because of how Joyce sings. Joyce's Stuck at a Train Show with You is brilliant, and Joyce singing Something Needs Repaired is a great one. Spain, France, Italy, and Germany. UK with a LHD vehicle for added complexity. Oh, left-hand drive, right. Yeah, I wanted to avoid that one, EFO. Endless Mud and Roadworks. Sadly, yeah, the Netherlands, yeah. Obviously, the one that went the most viral, and again, I talked about this in the video I posted, but Joyce's Digital Killed the Analog Guy. And I say Joyce because I'm talking about the singer. I write all these. Joyce has minimal input where I'll read her a line if I can't decide between one or the other, and which one do you think is funnier? Or which one do you think fits best? But otherwise, Joyce has, I write it all. I produce. All Joyce does is come down and sing. She's the David Lee Roth of this band. All right, Evo, thanks for coming in. Appreciate it as always. Thank you very much. Speaking of Joyce, I wonder where she's at. She should be appearing in the next 10 minutes. I haven't asked her if she's coming. And I don't think I've seen if Cayenne's up yet. I haven't seen Lindy pop in, but they might be busy too. Because I always judge the songs by my lyrics. Which ones do I like? Everard Junction was the most popular one until Digital Killed the Analog Guy went kind of viral. Mini viral. I mean, 1,200 views is not going viral. I don't know. How many views does a video get before you say it went viral? Like, is it 50,000, 10,000? I don't know. And for those who can watch Dutch TV, well, you can watch any TV if you can stream the internet and you got a good VPN. But I like my Rivet Counters one, but I sing it horribly. I sing it, so it doesn't stand out as well. Because obviously the ones where Joyce sings, because she's got a good voice, those come out better, sound better. They're easier to listen to than my horrific voice. That's why when Greg is feeling healthier, hopefully he'll be willing to take on. Unless somebody else here wants to sing for me. It's like, hey, I got a good voice. All right, Kieran, take care. Well, it was just Anthony so far, Kieran, but hopefully Joyce will become part of it soon. Oh, your internet went down. Well, welcome back, Edward. But yeah, it will always be there. But my thing is, I need to start writing some Matt Clark stuff. I need to do a Christmas special, and I don't have a plot yet. I started writing the Matt Clark Christmas special around this time last year. I started getting the ideas and jotting notes down, but I just have not. I need to go back and watch all my Matt Clark episodes just to get me jump started. But I've had all these parody songs, and we've got 3 more to come out that I hope will come out over the next week or 2. But we've got 1 more parody song. I don't like to tell you what they are. I like them to be a surprise. Although I was hoping Leslie would be here today. Because, and Simon was here, and I forgot to ask Simon. Is Simon the Railway Fan still here? I will be using some of your pirated video, Leslie and Simon, in the video I post this weekend. That might give you a small hint of what the topic is for the next parody song. And 156 Andrew. So if you know a 156 Andrew, Leslie Gilpin, and even some of Christopher's Hobby Vlogs, you've put up a couple of recently. And Simon, well, just his name is a clue right there. But if you know those guys, what they have in common, what their channels specialize in, you'll know that's the topic. That's what we take aim at in our next video. He makes chili the parody thickens. No, I've got the villains already picked out for Series 3. I've even created them. I've got their images and everything. They're good to go. I just need a plot line. I have a general idea, but I need to start fine-tuning that plot line. But I also want to do 1 more Christmas special, and I want it to be a sequel to last year's Christmas special. But this is why the 3rd movie is often bad. You start to run out of ideas. You know, the 3rd part of a series is usually the worst. 3rd part of a trilogy. Uh-oh. Wow, what's going on? Wow, everybody's been having weird events. I'm back, but we did spiral for a bit. You may want to reset your monitors. I might look a little gray at the time, but that was not my internet. That was YouTube. Everything I'm doing is running nice and smooth down here on my OBS, but yeah, something... YouTube must be having issues. But yeah, I'm still here. We're still good. But it did disconnect for a second. I'm looking at my OBS bit, and I have no drop frames. My internet upload speed is 10.8, and my connection is just super strong. And then it was green, 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 red. Well, that's me. I buffered there and apparently disconnected briefly, but OBS reconnected. So I think YouTube is having issues today. But everything on my side is good, but the YouTube side could be bad. You thought it was the drink. We are just in the bad pun mode today, guys. But yeah, we definitely definitely. I just need to get these last couple of parody songs out because they've been driving me crazy. I've had most of these were written in the spring, right after well, a couple of them were written over the winter, and then through the spring before we went to the UK. But we went to the UK, and then when we came back from the UK, all sorts of things were going on, and stuff behind the camera, family stuff, Joyce's brother, my other best friend, his cancer issues. And it just was hard to find a time where Joyce was in the mood to sing. Yeah, I haven't even looked to see if we have any likes. Yeah, 24 likes, that's not bad. But, you know, as I was explaining in the video, people asked, how do I come up with the songs? And I don't sit down and say, I'm going to take this song and make a train parody. 99% of the time I listen to music, I just listen to the song and I sing along with the song. But every now and then, I'll make a joke in it. I'll start changing the song based on a conversation Joyce and I were just having in the car or in the house, or something we just saw on TV. And I just do it for a couple of lines and then quit. But since I did the first train parody, yes, every now and then, and again, like 99.9% of the time I'm listening to a song, I'm not thinking any joke or anything with it. I'm just listening to the song. But out of that 0.1% of that, I might make a train joke. But even if I come up with a train joke, a train line, I have to see, is there anything there? I start playing with it. And I might go back to the song. Yeah. In fact, you know, I was talking about Joyce's input. There is one song Joyce actually suggested. We were in the car listening to early Beatles stuff, and we played "You Can't Do That," the John Lennon song with the Beatles, "You Can't Do That." And Joyce turned around and said, you could do a parody with that. And, you know, she didn't suggest the title or anything. She just said, this would be easy to do a parody with, a joke with. So I started going, you can't do that, you know. And I started thinking, train, you can't buy that. And boom, it started flowing. You can't buy that. You hit the like button and broke the screen. Man, where's Paul Bozeman tonight when you need him? We got the dad jokes going. But, yeah, it comes out of the blue. And then out of those songs where I come up with a joke, probably only 1% of those gets beyond a line or two. So when I get one and I start building it and writing it, it's very rare. But when it happens, I write them all out. And usually for some reason it happens in spurts. It happens in waves. I just all of a sudden 3 or 4 happen. Probably because the brain is open to that suggestion and now it's doing things. But again, 99% of the time when I sit down and try to write a train parody, I get nowhere with it and cancel it. So when I get it to the point where it's a full song and release it, there was a lot of mental work behind it, which is not a complaint. It's what I do in my head anyhow. You know, and then as I explained in the video, part of the writing process is I take the song, I take the actual lyrics of the song, and I go through the pronunciation of the syllables and pop, 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 make sure that my lyrics follow the same lyrical rhythm of the actual song. So that's a lot of work, but it's easy work for me. But it does involve changing words around or throwing this word out because even though that word would be better, it doesn't fit the rhythm, and sliding this one in. They played Sgt. Pepper's. Great song. Greatest, most important album of all time. I won't call it the greatest because musically, I don't think it's their best. But in terms of what it did in the rock and roll world, it's the biggest one. See, that's a better one. All you need are trains. All you need are trains. There's not a loco you can't buy. There's not a train set you can't try. Hey, Lindy, sweetheart, how are you? Happy birthday, Chris. And hey, Kyan, Opa loves you. And yes, he's been calling me Bopa the last couple of days. I don't know why it's Bopa or Boba, but yeah, he's been adding a B to it. Bopa. Probably because I'm always going beep, beep, beep with him. Hey, Kyan, beep, 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 beep. Boop, 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 boop. So now he just adds that. I'm the beeper, I'm Bopa. B Opa for Big Opa. That's what I am. Up, 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 Kyan. What do you think of all the trains, Kyan? Do you see all the choo-choos going around? Kai's here, so. Yeah, I wish Oma were here. She's late. Oh, but they had special stuff going on at the school. She might be needing to clear all that done. Hey, that's a camera I noticed not working right now. I don't know a Lachelle Baker. Huh. Whoops, sorry about that, guys. I'm trying to see why one of my cameras isn't working. Oh, well. I'll sort it out after the stream. All this time I just noticed that the camera on the Mallard isn't working. I did have to do some readjusting of some things. No, I occasionally grow a beard, but it comes off very quick because my face always gets too itchy. I do occasionally grow a beard, but I never grow a big one. Every now and then it comes in nice, but my beard comes in white. Very light gray to white. But I tend to stick with the goatee here. I've been wearing the goatee pretty much the last 30 some years. The last time I shaved my chin was when Joyce and I married. I took off a beard and had just the mustache. And then I grew a Fu Manchu for a bit. It didn't come in very well. So I went with the goatee, and I pretty much worn the goatee. Every now and then I go with a bit of a beard. But if I were to shave my chin and just go with the mustache, I don't think my kids would be like, Dad, is that you? But I do occasionally, in the coldest parts, do grow a little bit of a beard, but after about a week, it gets too itchy and I take it off. You grew a beard and look like a U-boat captain. Do you have to have a beard to be a U-boat captain? Hey, Steve87, how are you? A German U-boat captain, at least if you're thinking Das Boot, the famous movie Das Boot. All the Americans always go Das Boot because they see B-O-O-T, but it's German and the O's are pronounced like O, and it's a long vowel. When you have two vowels of the same in German, it's the long vowel, so you say it O. You basically pronounce it twice. Boot. Das Boot. Nah, kind of hard to shave when you got conserved water and everything out in those. Joyce's father was not a captain, but Joyce's father served in the Navy in the submarine service. He was on a submarine. For Halloween, go clean shave. No. No. This facial hair is on me until the end of the universe. This facial hair is not coming off. I may lose my hair everywhere else, but by God, it's staying here. It's a curse of Dodges. We have baby faces when we're clean shaven. 80 years old and look like babies. I don't think I'm an exceptionally, I don't think I'm a handsome man. I don't consider myself ugly either. But when I shaved, I hate I have to go back and remember what I looked like when I was 18, the last time I did not have a mustache. And yeah, not happening. I don't even like having the chin shaved. I hate the way I look with just a mustache. That's right, Jean Ricard, right. Now, my dad was clean shaven his whole life because he grew up that way. I don't remember when my dad finally grew a mustache. I think it was right before I met Joyce. Because I had a mustache and my dad always nagged me to shave it, and I was like, no. But my dad, I think, was in his 50s, and he finally grew a mustache, and he kept it the rest of his life. But he never grew a beard. I never saw my dad with a beard. When he started growing a mustache, and you really noticed he was growing a mustache, and I asked, Dad, are you growing a mustache? No, I just haven't shaved yet. And then a week later, Dad, you've got a mustache. I just haven't shaved yet. And then it was like, Dad, you should keep it. But if I were to shave this, I would look just like my dad. We're clones. All us Dodge men are clones. It's sickening. I don't know what I would look like. I don't even want to think of what I'd look like with just a mustache. It just wouldn't look right. I wouldn't look like me. Hey, Mick is taking off. Take care, Mick. Oh, wait, the other way. Mick is here. Edward's leaving, going to his NMRA meeting. Mick is staying. Edward's leaving. Take care, Edward. Yeah, around the time I met Joyce, I grew my mustache in full and decided I didn't like being called Tony anymore. I wanted to be called Anthony. But my family still call me Tony. Joyce calls me Tony, but she refers to me as Anthony. She'll when she talks about me, she'll say Anthony, but when she talks to me, I'm Tony. Most of Joyce's family called me Tony because that was the name they had heard from everybody else. But I didn't correct them because I didn't want to seem rude. Like, no, it's Anthony. But no, I've always preferred Anthony over Tony. I guess I decided I grew up. Of course, there's a lot of Tonys out there. There's Tony Pinnells, Tony Northeastern, and other people. But I just, around the time I was leaving West Point, I decided I really wanted to be Anthony and not Tony. Yeah, I'm that way, Randall. If I don't shave my neck, at least, I don't have to shave every day, but if I let it go 3 days without shaving, my neck drives me crazy. I wake up in the middle of the night going, oh, why didn't I shave this morning, lazy? So I have to shave every third day at the least, and I'm due to do it tomorrow. Hey, cool. Somebody's got hot photos they want to share. Well, that's just cool. Yep. Depending on the glue you want to use, you want to do well ventilated. Now, unfortunately, this basement does not ventilate. It's got windows, but they're permanently sealed in windows. I would love to replace the windows and put in a vent block, and then I could put an air sprayer in over here and a vent fan and just vent that kind of stuff straight out the one window here. But that's one reason I don't have an airbrush. I could put it in the garage, but in the garage it's exposed more to the elements. Even if it doesn't get wet, it's the changing conditions, and so you'd get condensation and moisture, and it would rust. And unless I'm working on a big project, I don't like going out to the garage to work on it. If I'm building a deck or something like that, then I set everything up in the garage and do everything there. If I'm building a piece of furniture, I will obviously I pull the cars out of the garage, pull my tables out, and bring all the wood in and build. But I would rather work in the house. Is my live chat frozen here? Bingo, there we go. That's a little better. Yeah, my live chat froze up on my OBS. No, Joyce will drop hints that I need to trim my mustache. I don't get food caught in it. Joyce will let me know it's time to trim the mustache. I really wanted to grow a Van Dyke. You know, this is a goatee. I really would like to grow a Van Dyke, but unfortunately, I have a section of chin here where you really need that hair to grow, and it doesn't grow. So I am stuck with the Fu Manchu. I wonder if Joyce is gonna. Joyce will let me know when it's time. I usually know before her because my ear will itch and I'll feel one of those stupid. Oh my God, one of the curses of growing old. Any youngsters in here today? The ear hair and the eyebrow hairs. You get this random eyebrow hair that just grows out of your head like some mutant snake. And I never see it. But whenever I give myself a haircut, I'll take the trimmers along my eyebrow as well. And every now and then Joyce will say, you missed one. And there'll just be this one stupid eyelash sticking out. But yeah, ear hair is the most obnoxious. Nose hair a bit too, but that's easier to trim. The ear hair are the ones where I've got the ear hair trimmers. I go all over, and like a day later, it's like you find 3 or 4 you miss somehow. I'm like, you're stupid. Yes, welcome to Model Trains, where we talk ear hair. But, I hear the pitter-patter of feet. Hey, you're late. No kidding. Oh, I'm sorry. Come on. Is it easier to push them that way? Okay. Oh, yeah, let me give you the mic. And let me give you a camera.
Alex is good. You're doing better today, it looks like. So, hi, Andy. Hi, Randall.
Whoops.
Hi, everybody
Holy
else.
cow, I really screwed that up.
Hey,
There you are.
Yeah,
Wow, do you look frazzled today.
Yeah.
I'll just put that out there now. You look frazzled.
Yeah. Well, we did our fun walk today. And, it's alright, Tom. I really do like to, get home earlier, but there's so much going on. Yeah, I'm okay, Joseph. It's just there. So, hi, Carl.
Okay, here. There's one more
Oh
room
my
for
God,
you.
this woman.
Oh, for goodness sake. We're almost at 30. Yeah, I mean, King George V is kind of a Van Dyke. It really is. She's home late from work, and she's getting messages from parents still. Your grandson is watching, if you wanted to say hi to your grandson somewhere. Welcome to the coolest train live stream on the internet, where I talk about ear hair and you watch Joyce text messaging. It don't get no better than that, folks. Now that there's entertainment.
They are just driving me a little crazy. We have conferences next week, and oh my goodness, what a thing.
Yeah.
So-
All of a sudden, a week before conferences, the parents care about grades.
Well, yeah, they care about grades. And I had one,
Why is my child flunking? Because they haven't done any work.
takes a test at 1:15 to 2:15, and 2:30 mom emails me, did you by any chance get a chance to grade that test? You know what? I grade things quickly. I don't let anything sit because it would drive me absolutely batty crazy. But no, and it's the weekend. Maybe I'll let you know Sunday night. That's it. Okay. Yeah, we did our fun walk today. The kids were off the hook. Off the hook.
A little hyper today.
Oh, extremely, and I'm changing my thing.
Extremely a
I'm
little
gonna get
hyper.
really tough on them here.
Yeah, my nose hair,
So,
the minute it
hi, Mick.
grows lower than the nose line, curls upwards and starts tickling my nose.
Nah,
Drives
no
me
worries,
crazy.
Joy. No worries, Randall. You can call me Joyce.
Anthony, what happens if Joyce gets more subscribers than you?
Well, first of all, it's completely impossible because I have so little on my on my site.
Yeah, you're at
And
65
I'm like, not very
last I
interesting.
checked.
Yeah, I'm around there. And
So she's about 1,200 behind
anyway,
me
so
right
hi, Roy, and oh yeah, they're just being too rowdy. I'm changing my thingy here so I can get them strikes faster. I've been too tough on them. So hi, Split Rock.
now. It's Thomas. We know.
Yeah, it's Thomas. Yeah. Yeah,
But
you
yeah,
guys are talking about facial hair. I told you about that guy last week. Nice guy, very knowledgeable, sure knew his stuff, and you really liked talking to him, but you couldn't get past his eyebrows that talked. For God's sakes, where's a pair of scissors? Just come closer to my desk and I'll trim them for you. Oh, I say, he was a great guy, but ugh. Yeah, no rush. Yeah, sure, thanks. Yeah,
All right,
it's
let it
just-
go for a little bit. Try to unwind.
Oh,
Breathe.
yes, and I'm changing the science, and okay, I can use the new bud. So, hunting for the materials they say they have in that kit, don't have most of it.
Of course
So now
not.
I'm digging through my cupboards, and it's getting later and later, and I have to call Justin's dad, and I've got the sub coming in talking to me about Justin's family. Then I'm hearing Amy's, I want to say her full name. Her sister-in-law is really sick, and it's just like, oh.
And this is why when people
Yeah.
ask me, do I miss teaching?
Yeah, exactly.
No.
I know you don't. So, yeah, no, you're fine.
Oh, here, there's the third
So-
new textbook in 5 years.
Yeah,
and,
no
by the
kidding.
way, it doesn't match all the state standards.
No, and I finally looked on the science website. Yeah, screw it. All right, I'm just going to do what they told me to do. They used the book a lot. So fine, I'll do it. So, although they cross off, don't use that, don't use that. Yeah. I get my hair done tomorrow.
Yeah, well,
needs it.
your hair is windblown. You are clearly outside.
I open doors. It's hot. It's not just warm. It's
Oh,
hot.
don't worry about it, Randall. It's all good.
Yeah, no, so, yeah, it's absolutely fine. I have to, yeah, that's true. I have to,
But we chose this life.
yeah, we did. And I love it most of the time. Not at this exact moment. Yeah, not right.
I love it.
Not right now. I don't. But it'll be all right. No, the kids next door who call me Joyce. I said, you know, when you are in school, you've got to call me Mrs. Dodge, but it's okay here.
That would be the greatest irony of all. Book burning of Fahrenheit
Oh
451.
golly, no. Book burning isn't good. As that one guy said, first you ban books, burn
Nope,
books,
that
then
was
you
a
burn
quote.
people.
That was my signature on my
Yeah.
school. On our school email, you were they encouraged you to have a quote,
Right.
you know, that would be attached to everything. And mine was an 1820s quote by the German writer Heinrich Heine.
That's it. Yeah.
Whenever people burn books, they will eventually burn people.
Yep. Too true. Too true.
That was my quote for 20 some years of my career.
Yeah, it might be time to get the peach brandy up. Oh,
Hey,
good
I'm
for
here
you,
for that.
Andy.
We
That's
can play
nice.
Trivial Pursuit too.
Yeah. Oh, I think I have the energy.
Ha!
Yeah.
Find it.
Okay, I'm sure I'll recover.
Yeah, Hot
So
Dog
good for
Pilot
you,
said his
Andy.
retirement date.
That's
Yeah.
nice.
Yeah, he announced this on somebody's live stream the other day that he just handed his notice in. He's out.
Yeah, okay. I mean, I could go in 6 years. I'm
But
a
you
lot
wanna
worried
go
about
9.
it. Yeah, I'm a little worried about it. Yeah. So now I'll
She
be
used
fine.
to, but she can't take bubble baths now.
Yeah, they irritate me. So, no, I'm fine. I will be fine. I just don't have the letdown yet. So,
She has
I'm
to
sorry I looked
detox.
stressed. Yeah, I
She has
gotta
to unwind.
and I had to clean the fish tank. I'll tell you, when I had that fish tank on the window, where it's the north side, so the sun's not there, I would get so much algae, but it wiped right off. I don't have it near the window now, and I get algae, and I can't scrub it off. It's alive, and I keep putting the algae killer in it, and I got a lot of it off today, but I still can't get all of it.
Oh, algae is just hard to kill.
Ugh.
I had a science teacher, Mr. Borland, who said
Yeah.
actually just let the algae grow.
Well, I know it's not bad for the tank, but you need to see in it, or it's not worth having a fish tank.
Nope.
Well, yeah, November is okay.
Nope. I don't. I miss the past. I don't miss the current.
Well, yeah, that really has. It's really sucked all the joy out. It really has. And it's like, so good teachers, are, working on. I got the buzzword already. Differentiating every single lesson. In which case, I say bite me, because you can't.
Oh yeah, I wanted to retire a couple of years ago, and Joyce said I couldn't.
Yeah, I made him sick a couple more. Now he's good. This was the right time.
Oh yeah, it was the right time.
Anyway,
'cause-
if you haven't hit the like button, let's get Anthony up to at least 30, please. Yeah, no, it's good. I think you hit
No,
a
it's
point.
great.
You've
I
earned
mean,
it. And
I mean, it was nice to be 58 and be
you
retired. It's
really
nice.
just have to enjoy your life.
All this time to sit around and think of what DoubleTree I could get up to. I just don't get up to any DoubleTree.
Oh, you will.
I'm trying to talk myself into doing the next huge step on the Fowler car bit. But I really wanted to get these parody songs out of the way.
Well, we got a couple out now.
Well, we did.
It is hard work
We
being a
had
caretaker.
3 different songs, 3 different singers. Because I did Salisbury
Yeah.
Hill,
Yeah,
and then Greg did Wicked Train,
yeah, right.
and then
Thank
you
you.
did Talk Trains.
Yep,
And then you got the new one in the bank, which I've already put the music and everything together.
good. You gotta
Really
find a
nice.
video.
You know, like I was talking about, you started off a little.
I always do. That first.
Your first stanza is
stanza.
always hard for you to get
Yeah,
into a
but
rhythm,
your
and then
first,
you get
that
it.
first stanza was hard. It was just tongue twisting and a lot and
But that's the
fast
way it's
and-
sung.
I know it is, but
And you still skipped words and changed words on me. I'm typing the
Sorry.
lyrics into the video and going, that's
not
what
what
you
she
just
said."
sang.
oops. So yeah, we'll have another
But
one.
you started off a little slower. You started off slow, and I had to do a little bit of
Yeah,
fidgeting
the rest
with
of it wasn't bad.
No, you
it was
rocked
easy enough to do.
It's just the
it.
first 3-4 lines you were a little
Yeah.
hard to get you
Under the
going.
bu- Yeah.
And that was after how many takes? We did 6 takes.
Did we all right?
We did
But
about,
it was all for the first stanza.
yeah, you were just
The
struggling.
rest of it was all right.
Yeah, once you got into the flow, the last 2/3, 3/4 of the song, you did
Yeah.
wonderfully.
Right.
I mixed it very well.
Yes, she did.
Well, you haven't heard it yet.
Oh well, okay. You wrote
I'm
it
not
well.
talking talk.
I'm
No,
with you.
talk trains.
I
You did
know.
great on.
Well,
I'm
okay.
talking the new one.
Yeah, I got it. Well, that's worthy of having wicked deltoids and abs.
No, my deltoids aren't developed as well anymore.
You
No.
got weights in there, you know.
Yeah. I worked out today.
Good. I'm glad. I feel better. Did you get half an hour in?
I did 20 minutes today. I should have done half an hour,
I know,
but
you kept telling
I've
me
been
to do
doing
20.
15 to 20, 15 to 20. But 20 minutes on the exercise bike was 5 miles, which is about, my bike rides are about 20 to 25 minutes, so that's what I've been trying to do.
YouTube does that, you know. They just throw commercials in randomly. Yeah,
Usually
that's
it doesn't
not
do it
new.
in the middle of a live stream unless it rebooted, like your computer rebooted or you had a quick disconnect and reconnect.
Meh.
But I've already had 2 of those. Everything here's been great, but just out of the blue, boom, you've lost connection. So it must have been a YouTube thing, a YouTube server
Yeah,
error.
probably.
Oh, we just had all those trains in there. I probably should have put that up.
You look- Oh,
You just had like
yeah.
5 of the 6 trains were all here.
Yep. I like it when they hang out together. We still got a bunch coming too. Yeah, they're coming back now. Oops, okay.
Well, they're all in different places now.
Sorry.
I just tend to leave the multi-view on, but I do like to go. I've got all these other views I can show.
Yeah, you do.
You know, there's so many different views we can
You
show.
got that one running.
Yeah, I've got that one running, but the camera, you know, when I had the problem last week,
Yeah.
where the computer wasn't starting and disconnected everything, this camera did not turn back on. Now I've got it on, but to fix it, I would have to mess around with stuff.
Gotcha. So, hi, Kyan. Not that I'm on the screen anymore, but it's alright. He heard me.
What,
He
did you
heard
just
me.
comment again?
No, I just remembered I should
Oh,
say
you just
something.
now remember your grandson. How nice.
I was a little distracted. Oh, I love that little guy. He is now a 22-month-old tornado.
Yep, officially 22 months.
Yep.
Bingo. Now let's see if this.
We gotta
logs
start
on
thinking about
correctly.
his 2-year-old party.
Bingo. There it is. Yay, fixed.
Oh, there you go.
Hey, there's the dude running. There, we got that one camera working. So there it is. There you can see the little mallard running around.
Okay, 3 coaches.
It's 3 little coaches. Yep.
It's not what you got at the toy show, is it? Train show? Yeah, that's right.
Wait, it's a western. It's about some western town with a whiny kid. That's Matt Clark.
I was wondering if you were right doing Matt Clark. Woo.
And it's also pornography because there's a lot of dirty jokes in Matt Clark.
Yeah, there is.
There's a lot of dirty jokes in Matt Clark. Some hidden, some not so hidden.
A masochistic horse.
We got a sadomasochistic horse. That horse is a kingster, man.
Is that packaging?
Is what packaging? Yes, that is packaging.
Interesting.
That was one of my locomotives was wrapped in that. It actually came from Lipa, so it was interesting. They had something else they were trying, I guess.
It's very spongy
Yeah,
fabric.
yeah. It's still good stuff. That's why I held on to it.
I can wrap something else in it.
Nick and Andy are just having drinking comments back and forth.
It's perforated.
Besides not going to work, my biggest change is now instead of going to bed, trying to go to bed 8:39, I now go to bed
Just drove me crazy.
9:30 to
I like
11.
to sleep, but I don't want to go to bed at 8:30. Ooh,
Well, I don't want to go to sleep at 8:30 either. That's just when I went to bed.
I know. You wanted me with you, and I wasn't done. I didn't have very much time to do
Oh,
everything I
I
wanted to do.
knew you had work and papers to grade and video games to play and
tests.
mahjong and
Yep.
word puzzles to do. As long as you got money to live on, retirement's the best. I mean, the problem is the jealousy is there's people we're talking to right now who can't retire. Like I said, I wanted to retire when I signed on to teaching. It was supposed to be 30 years in and out, and I had to go 6 more years. That was 6 more years than I was promised. But I couldn't afford this year. With the last 2 years I did, because we did get a big pay raise after massive pay cuts years ago. We got a huge pay raise to make our salaries competitive with the other big cities in Ohio. yeah, the last 3 years of, because the way they figure out my retire is I get 78% of my top 5 years, which were my last 5 years. So I get 78% of that. That's my retirement. So you take a 22% pay cut in retirement, but it's still a nice retirement. But the thing is, I'm also not paying into the retirement system, which was, what, 15%? 16%? 14. Oh, I thought it had gone up to 15. So already,
Still too
my,
high.
my retirement paycheck is not much smaller. I'm also not paying union dues and a couple other things. So my retirement paycheck is not much smaller than my working paycheck.
It's true.
So, I mean, that was the one positive of being a teacher, at least where I'm a teacher at, was our retirement was a nice retirement. So I'm making about the same amount of money. The only thing that sucks is I get paid once a month instead of twice a month. You go back to 5 days a week on Monday. This is daytime watching. It's funny because I don't think of my show as daytime, but it really is. I'm 3:30, which for the East Coast of the United States is mid-afternoon, early to mid-afternoon. For the West Coast, it's noon, but for the UK, it's evening and bedtime, and for continental Europe, it's late evening and bedtime.
Yep.
And it's a Friday, which means people should be going out to movies and bars and clubs and stuff like that. But no, a few people decide to hang out with me. It's weird.
It's nice.
It's nice. It's just weird.
Yeah.
I mean, the viewing numbers are down, so obviously some people have figured that out. We never carpooled, did we? We eventually had to buy 2
Very
cars.
young, we did.
Oh, you would drive me to work,
I
right?
would drive
You
you
drove me to work,
keep the car,
and then you went to classes and work,
came back and got you.
and then came back and got me. Yep. So yeah, that was a long time ago. Oh my God.
That was a long time
We're
ago.
old.
Yeah.
Only one of us shows it though. You're showing stress from another long week at work, but you're not
Yeah.
showing age.
Yeah.
Now, being tired and whatever makes you look maybe a little older, I don't know, but you don't look your age, that's all I know. You don't look close to your age. I've had a couple of people look at me and say I don't look 58, but I guess I know I'm 58. I figure I'm gray and all that. I figure I look my age. But then again, people look at me and go, we didn't know you were that tall either.
Yeah.
That just keeps coming up.
Yep.
No, I was doing something unique here. I'm running the freight train. Normally I just run a small freight train on a short circuit. I'm running a longer freight train on an outer circuit today. That's the only big deal today, not a real theme. Knock on wood, everything's been running smooth today. Still a little bit slow on the outer lane. I don't know what it is, but the 218 doesn't seem to be quite so problematic with it. But definitely a little slower than I think he should be.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what's going on with him.
Well, I tried to clean some of it up.
I think it helps usually to clean it. That's funny.
You work a mile away from each other, but in the same building. That's
building.
just weird.
That is crazy. Yeah, it's amazing the amount of what sleep does to you. I mean, we just look at teachers when they finally hit summer. Midsummer, they look rested and
Yeah.
a lot
Well, even
healthier.
retirement people, you know, you meet a teacher that retired and you haven't seen them in 2-3
Yeah.
years, and you look at them and go, wow, you look
Yeah,
good.
They look so good, yeah, because they're not wearing
I'm not
that,
stressed anymore.
not wearing that stress, yeah.
My trains are some of the smoothest running. Well, I try because I don't ever run the ones that don't run smooth. Although those ESU cars, by golly. John Ricard was here earlier. He must have jumped off or fallen asleep or something.
Oh,
Because
okay.
he hasn't said hi to you that I noticed.
No, he hasn't.
Okay. So he must have waited till 5:30 and then said, she's not coming.
Right. Could be.
Yeah, I'll have to do that, George. Because actually the attachment where I run the power is on the third rail inside. And that's where the power goes. So maybe it's running a little low.
Yeah.
I might have to
Maybe
actually add an
need
extender with all the extra trains and things I'm asking it to do. I might just need a little.
Yep. Emerson, Lake and Palmer. Oh,
They're still talking retirement and all that.
gotcha. Okay.
Pink Floyd,
That's retirement music.
that's retirement music. I was just thinking the one Pink Floyd song we did. Because we've gone at the Beatles the
Yeah,
most.
quite a bit.
Quite a bit. At least 3 songs.
Just use your tongue to check. How bad could it be?
Actually, I can use my fingers.
That's funny.
But, I don't know, can you turn Comfortably Numb into a train song?
No.
When I was a child, I had a Tyco set. It ran in circles on the floor. But I got bored and it was time to move away. I wouldn't want to do it. I don't think either one of us could sing it.
Probably not.
I have become comfortably numb. No, the public is not allowed at the Nuremberg Toy Show. You have to be from a company that is displaying a dealership, a store, and then sometimes, like, let's say a model shop that sells product. You can get into that show and they can bring a friend. But the Nuremberg Toy Show is not open to the general public. However, having just said that, that is now changing. They are opening it to the general public either next year or in 2024. I think it's 2023 that they've announced they're going to open it to the general public. You're uploading a TV series to an archive site. Yeah, Randall. It's the same old thing. It's got to be a song I'm listening to, and you know that's where they just come out of the blue. I'm listening to a song like there. Now in that case, we were talking about Comfortably Numb, and I know the song well enough. It's a song I love, and then yes, if you heard, I threw a couple of quick lines out there.
And then rejected it because neither one of us can sing it.
And then, yeah, I mean, I came up with 2 lines. If I suddenly came up with a bunch of lines, I might pursue it. But then I also think, can either of us sing this? Now, maybe Greg could sing it.
Oh, I think it's
Hello,
6 o'clock.
hello, hello. Are there any trains running? I don't know.
Say it's 6, maybe.
It's 6 o'clock. And at 6 o'clock, we turn into pumpkins.
Yeah.
And at this time of year, it's not a good time to turn into a pumpkin. So it's just, like I said, I've already got a backlog of songs. I have another video that will either drop tomorrow or Sunday, depending on how many YouTube videos I have to peruse through before I can work on it, because I like to catch up on all the channels I'm subscribed to before I can work on it while watching some videos, but I like to watch and comment, so I have to do that. I'm not cooking supper tonight.
Nope.
That's funny. That's me making that comment this time instead
Yeah,
of
I
you.
know. You just order a pizza if you want.
What about Liz?
What about Liz?
To be honest, I'm still missing the steak sandwich they screwed up last night and I didn't get to have.
Yeah, that sucks.
Always. Oh, okay, that's still the guy running down there. You know which way to go? Oh, watch your foot. You are caught in a wire.
I am caught in a wire.
Don't take the speaker with, or the mic with you. Come on. Get your foot. There you go. You get everything removed for Halloween when you're a pumpkin. They take it all out. All they leave is the skin. Thick skin. Oh, you got selected for a random work drug test. Did you tell them you prefer cocaine? You don't need the test. You have already tried them all and you know which one you like? Oh, wait, it's a different type of drug test. We'd like you to come in for a drug test. All right, but I really don't like taking drugs. But I'll try them if you want me to.
Yeah.
All right, so anyhow, on behalf of Joyce and me, we're going to say Auf Wiedersehen.
Auf Wiedersehen. Choose.
No, you pick one or the other. Which one are you going to say?
Choose.
All right, now we got to do it all over. On behalf of the woman that just refuses to read her lines correctly, we're going to say Auf Wiedersehen.
Choose.
And happy trains. See you at the next live stream. Take care, everybody.
Bye.
Stop. Yes.